If you're like me and the Arbiter is your favorite character in Halo, this is really interesting news for Halo Infinite, guys. Welcome to the channel. I'm your boy Patman, coming back at you guys with another Halo Infinite news update. Now I'm going to tell you guys the news first, and then I'll give my opinions on it afterwards, so let's get right into it. The godly voice actor Keith David, who plays, of course, the Arbiter, held a Q&A recently on his Twitter, and somebody asked him, "Can you confirm if you're in Halo Infinite?" And then Keith replied, "Well, I'd have to kill you." Now, let's state the obvious here. Of course, he's not denying that he's in Halo Infinite. He's also not confirming that he's in Halo Infinite, but this really strikes me as confirmation personally. Now, I say this because you hear stuff like this all the time in the Hollywood business when actors are talking about their movies. They'll be asked a question, and because they're under an NDA or a non-disclosure agreement, they'll say something along those lines like, "Oh, well, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you." I remember specifically hearing this when I was watching a bunch of interviews for the newer Star Wars movies. I remember maybe like Mark Hamill or somebody saying stuff like that. So this is very common. And to me, if they were not in something, they could just deny it. You know, why lead people on? Keith David seems like the type of guy that's pretty upfront about things. So I think he's in Halo Infinite. I'm hoping he's in Halo Infinite because, like I said at the beginning of the video, Arbiter is my favorite character in the whole series. Now, before I get into why he's my favorite character in the whole series, leave a comment down below, guys. Let me know how you personally feel about the character of the Arbiter. And while you're down there in the comments section, if you guys are new here and you want to stay absolutely up to date on all the latest happenings in the world of Halo, you're in the right spot. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button and click that like button. I tend to put the news at the beginning of my videos so you guys don't get the fluff. You get right to the chase, right to the juicy stuff right away. And then towards the end of the videos, I like to give my opinions and have a little bit of discussion with my community. So if you guys appreciate that no nonsense, you're not going to see me dragging out videos to meet a certain criteria for ads or anything like that. That's not what we're about here on my channel. I want to give you guys the news, keep you up to date, because we're all big Halo fans and we're all in this together, riding or dying with Halo Infinite, guys. Still extremely pumped for this game. Hope you guys are too. Now, real quick before we get started on why Arbiter is my personal favorite character in the series, something that I think is probably the most interesting thing to see Arbiter return in Halo Infinite is the new art style, because we've seen so many redesigns of characters, especially Chief getting some new armor and the enemies looking more classic. Will we see Arbiter go back to silver armor? I'm not, against the gold armor. I prefer gold over silver in almost anything, but for some reason, I do think that the silver armor just looked more badass on Arbiter from Halo 2 and 3, but I would love to see a redesign. I would love to see how it fits in with the new art style for Halo Infinite. All right, so why is Arbiter so important to me personally? So growing up, Halo 2 being my favorite Halo of all time and favorite multiplayer in the series, probably my second favorite story in the series, mostly because of the Arbiter, not because of Chief. Halo 4 is actually my first favorite story. One of the few things that I really enjoyed about that game was its storytelling, and that really personified Chief in that game. Now, Halo 2, the most human character was the Arbiter. We literally saw the origin story of that character. We don't know, unless you read the books, especially back then, you didn't know anything about the Master Chief. He was a man of few words, kicked ass, chewed bubblegum, was always out of bubblegum, and that was that kind of character. Very silent, strong protagonist. But the Arbiter was somebody who we saw become the Arbiter. Thel 'Vadamee turned into the Arbiter before our very eyes in Halo 2. And you saw the human side of him. You saw the shame that he felt from failing not only his higher-ups, but his military, his religion, and himself, because the elites are so honor bound. And Thel was literally like the most decorated war hero of the Covenant. He killed millions upon millions of people. Like, he glassed so many planets. He was a well-respected Covenant elite. And then he just fell from grace just because he basically didn't protect the ring in Halo CE, and Master Chief blew it up. Always thought that was so cool. They're like, we should kill you for this because it's heresy. I'm like, holy crap, that's extreme. But instead, we're going to send you on suicide missions and you're going to basically die die for us while we send you on these impossible missions because you're a great soldier and you could still do more, but we're gonna basically sentence you to death the long way, which is even more like, oh my god, you guys are really jerks to this guy. Now, when Halo 2 came out, there was initial backlash because people wanted to play as Chief. Chief was the main protagonist, people wanted to play as him. Look at Halo 5, how that turned out, but over time, people really grew to like the Arbiter. From the beginning, I loved the Arbiter. I thought he was cool. He had all the badass lines in Halo 2. It's such great dialogue in that game. You know, if they came to hear me beg, things like, you know, kill me or release me, Parasite, do not waste my time with talk, what would you have your Arbiter do? Beginning of Halo 3, were it so easy, at the end of Halo 3 as well, like great lines. And then, you know, spoiler alert for a 17-year-old Halo game now, but in Halo 2, the big twist when the Brutes betray the Elites and the Prophets basically cast the Elites aside or whatever, I thought that was so cool. Like when Heavy Price Paid starts playing, one of my favorite Halo songs, that starts playing, you really feel the betrayal in Arbiter's heart. Like, wow, this has really just gone to crap, hasn't it? Now, with Halo 5, a lot of people had backlash with that game because you didn't focus on Chief enough in that game, and Fireteam Osiris was really boring, there was no character development, and Locke was a very cookie-cutter character, and I don't think we're gonna get that Halo 2 nostalgia, like, down the road where we actually like the characters. Halo 5 was just different because the characters weren't good. The characters weren't written good, in my opinion. There are some people that really do like Locke as a character, and do like Fireteam Osiris, and those could be people that never played the original Halos and they're new to Halo with 4 or 5. Even from Halo 4, how much character development we saw with the Master Chief, all that got thrown away in 5. We never got to see any of that, and I thought we were heading in a really cool direction with Halo. Now, we know with Halo Infinite that the story is primarily focused on the Master Chief. 343 has already said this, so we're gonna assume no other playable characters after the backlash from Halo 5. However, we also know that Halo Infinite is a platform, much like MCC. This is going to be the next 10 years of Halo where they just add to this game, and I could totally see if Arbiter doesn't make an appearance in the main story, as a DLC would be absolutely awesome. An Arbiter focused DLC where we play as the Arbiter during the events of Zeta Halo, whatever Chief is doing against the Banished there would be absolutely sweet. And I've said this multiple times in the past, I would love to see a Banished versus the Swords of Sanghelios with Arbiter facing off against Atriox in a battle. I think that would be awesome, especially if Arbiter has like a real reason to go after Atriox after Atriox orders our boy Escharum from the Halo Infinite gameplay trailer to kill Chief or something, and he gravely injures Chief, and Chief's like out of commission, and Arbiter's like, yo, you just mess with my homie, that's my friend, I'm gonna mess you up now. Obviously, this is all speculation in this part of the video, guys, so thank you so much for sticking around listening to my opinions. Now, I'm planning on a big year for the channel. It's a big year for Halo, which should mean a big year for the channel. I fell just short of my goals last year on YouTube. This year, I want to absolutely smash my goals, get to 10,000 subs by the time the end of the year rolls around. Before Infinite would be even better, so we really get the steam rolling when Halo Infinite comes out. When Infinite comes out, guys, you're gonna get a lot of content. I'm gonna be covering everything. Updates, patches, challenges, how to do them, the quickest and most efficient ways. Every little tidbit that comes out about Halo Infinite, you guys will be covered here. Of course, I'm still covering MCC as well. When the Showtime series comes out, I'll be covering that. A lot of Halo goodness coming in this next year. Huge year for Halo, guys. And if you want to stay up to date on absolutely everything, you are in the right spot. Click subscribe, share the videos out on social media. That greatly helps. Liking and commenting greatly helps. So please do that. Share the videos with your friends if they like Halo or maybe on the fence about Halo. Share the channel out for me. It greatly helps. Thank you guys so much. I wouldn't be where I am now without you guys, but it's onwards and upwards. End goal is to be one of the main Halo channels on YouTube and hopefully do this full-time as a content creator. That's my dream. It's not realistic, but I am willing to put in the work for you guys and crank out these videos this year. I'm really doubling down on the channel. So if you guys have been with me for a very long time, hopefully that gets you guys excited, because I'm really excited to see the growth of this channel this year. It's gonna happen. I can feel it. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope to catch you on either a previous video of mine or a future video of mine. Till that time comes, I'm your boy Pat, man, and I'm out.